Mm-hmm. I mean,
right.
but of course.
Hey there, folks of YouTube, and welcome to Policenauts. I'm Zerfall,
I'm BoboTheVulture.
and we're going to be checking out this game that is billed as the next generation of Snatcher.
Bum, 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 bum.
And we are going to go to space. This is kind of apropos with how long it took us to get ready to play this.
Open all of your candies. Open all your hard candies now.
And
shut
don't
off
forget to turn off your cell phones. Yeah. Oh. I guess Digital Knot Studio.
You digital nuts.
These knots.
Ooh.
The year was 2010. Mankind completed the first space colony beyond coast. We finally outgrew our cradle.
Yeah, I remember when we did that 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a good time. And of course, they sent police officers up as the astronauts because they needed to keep law as people immigrated into space.
Salvatore.
I feel like Trouble has a hard time touching him too.
Yeah, probably. Astronauts with police authority. The police nuts.
Hey man, back in the day, adding two words together was super cool. Uh-oh!
I mean,
Something's happening under a red light.
LA now extends to space. Well, the smog already does. Oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, we got our OVA suit here.
Section B has a problem.
Looked like Section B was calf.
Hey, that's that NES joystick.
That wasn't the advantage. Like the quick shot?
No, the other one though. Anyways, everyone's shocked as he flies into space.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you be? This is the first police not. This is the first police not loss.
I'm not completely surprised that this happened. They weren't properly prepared.
They were police knots. Come on. They underwent rigorous police and not training.
But they didn't do any scribble training.
Yes, he should have drawn Cthulhu to save him.
There you go. Yeah, that's why we have redundant spacesuit joysticks nowadays. There's two of them.
Oh yeah, because you gotta control yourself, like Smash TV styles.
It's a twin stick
one to aim
shooter.
to fire, one to aim movement. So 25 years later, from 2013, this actually will be the future.
This is the future now, yeah. So eventually we do find the you guys remember a few years back when we lost one of our police knots in space? Well, we finally found him. He was just hanging out at home the whole time.
By the way, this is where you're from. Wow, Ted Cruz was right. The world is on fire.
Oh man, we're getting a little bit of slowdown on this thing. Which is interesting because prior to this I was having a hard time with it actually not slowing down.
Yes. Ah, that fucking
There we go, that's a
sucks.
little better.
You mean within the next, like, 20 or so years, smoking makes a big comeback?
Yep, it does. It does one of those things where it goes around the loop, right? We get very little snow one year, and then suddenly the next 10 years later, there's snow everywhere.
This Arbor Day.
I gotta say, I'm digging the soundtrack to this game.
I'm gonna have to check that out later.
You are.
Hey, good looking. I'm gonna check out your soundtrack later. With praising the storytelling and soundtrack in both Snatcher and this game, which I imagine Zerf and I will detract from heavily by sitting around and smirking at it. So if you are interested in getting a serious take on this game, you may want to go do that yourself first.
That could be true. This is not an anime, and it's not a game. It's both! Welcome home to Prologue.
You live in the prologue. Ranger, this is if I know how this is going to work right, this is going to be a point and click adventure style game, yeah?
With a guy named Jonathan Ingram.
30 years ago, I was one of Beyond's Policenauts. Of course, with the EMPS accident, it feels like practically yesterday. They're vivid memories. A wife, friends, career. I left everything behind. That accident ruined my life. Now I'm a private eye cum negotiator in this wonderful place called Old LA. I negotiate with child kidnappers and human traffickers. Intermediate ransom exchanges, so on. It's dangerous work. But for a guy at the end of his rope like me, scum like that are the only thing putting food on my table. Guess it beats still being out there.
I mean, I guess.
Alright. I got some time till that client gets here. May as well point and click at my desk. Got some newspaper clippings and photos on the walls. A couple other photos on my desk. They help keep my memory fresh.
His memory isn't very fresh despite being freeze-dried in space for a while. So now we're finally going to find out what's on this answer machine after all that.
Guaranteed fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Alright, so we don't want right clicks, we want left clicks.
Look, I really feel like the two O's should be at signs. This is a piece of paper with information on a client. I've been asked to look for the 4-year-old son. You just don't see many ransom kidnappings nowadays. Safer for the kidnappers to quickly sell off the victim's organs to organ buyers. They're guaranteed to see a return that way, too.
Interesting.
I got a bad feeling about this one.
Oh, jeez.
I'm getting too old for that. This is a video phone. Asterisk, which I guess means it used steroids during its career. With a built-in printer, though I've disabled outgoing video.
Oh, he put a little piece of tape over the camera.
I've disabled outgoing video because I like to answer in my underwear. Most of my cases come in over the phone. Clients don't particularly like meeting me in person. Meeting me up in person.
Alright, there should be a way for us to, play messages.
I should check the machine. Maybe there's a call from someone with a case. Wait a second. No.
Sorry, wrong number.
Who leaves a message at a wrong number? Damn it. What's someone gonna call with an actual case?
I thought we were waiting for someone to come with an actual case. Alright, so let's head up over here, because this is where we've got some newspaper clippings.
This is a newspaper article from when I was rescued from the EMPS's survival ball.
I'm guessing we're learning questions to ask people about later with these asterisks. Asterisks?
Okay. Spent 25 years inside this thing waiting to be found. I've had cosmophobia ever since. I just can't go back out there anymore. I hate Cosmo Kramer. Frightens me.
Well, if you bashed into your room like that all the time, you would too. This is a point and click for the Sega Saturn. Alright, let's go back. I guess this was only a relatively small article in the corner of the newspaper. Not overly impressive. What's this one like?
This is a newspaper article written at the time of Beyond Coast's completion. It was written 28 years before the article about my rescue. This is a picture of Beyond Coast right after it was completed. The only thing they hadn't finished was the agricultural ring. Headline reads, "Long envisioned colony complete. New era for mankind." I'll read some of the article. Basic construction of the world's first outer-space colony, Beyond Coast, underway for several years. Near Lagrangian Point, L5, was completed yesterday. First wave of specialized immigration will consist mostly of scientists and engineers, who will spend 14 months performing checks and gathering data. Immigration is scheduled to be open to the general public, in 3 years' time. Beyond's position is shown in the diagram on the left.
Oh, maybe
Beyond is in a peace sign. Here they point out Beyond's location in space. It's in an orbit around the L5 Lagrangian point. It's the red dot.
Oh, so it's not directly behind Earth. It's back and to the left.
I have a model of Beyond on top of one of the filing cabinets.
Oh, he keeps it there to remind him about how he got lost in space for 25 years.
Always something there to remind him. This is a model of Beyond. Ed made it for me. Oh, Ed doesn't have an asterisk? Ed's in a couple of pictures on the wall.
Oh, see, they're sort of guiding us around. Hey, there we go.
This is a picture from when I was in LAPD. Me and my partner Ed were always together. Oh man, that was back when photographs had Ed Brown.
There was
had the little images burned in. One guy trusted my life. Good friend and a good partner. Replica of my badge from Venice sitting on my desk.
They didn't let him keep his full badge. They were like, "All right, you can make a plaster mold of this, and then we're gonna need it back."
You got a toy badge. They said, "Oh, it's a total replica."
And you missed it, but they had some sweet jazz music play as he introduced his buddy Ed.
That was an LAPD building. That gray, background there. Yeah.
Let's see what's in this picture.
This photo was taken to commemorate the selection of the Policenauts. 5 officers at all the world's police organizations were chosen and trained. We were called the Original Cops.
Or OCs.
Original 7. Or, as we know now, Original 8, though the one, boss, was erased from the history books. We're wearing ejection escape suits here. These are obsolete now. Back then, everyone thought the orange-colored suits were cool. Now they're so lame.
Yeah, who would get caught wearing orange nowadays?
That's Joseph Sadakai Tokugawa. He came from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department in Japan. He's now head of Tokugawa Group. That's Gates Becker. He came from Scotland Yard in the UK. I heard he's risen pretty high up through the ranks of Beyond Coast Police.
So everyone's doing well but you.
That's Salvatore Toscanini. Trouble can't touch him. He came from NYPD. Apparently he resigned from Beyond Coast Police over 10 years or so ago.
I don't want to
So
go back.
around the time of the incident.
Hey, that's Ed.
That's Ed. He's chosen out of LAPD along with me. He looks thinner here than compared to the LAPD picture. I was absolutely ecstatic, but Lorraine, she was against me going to space.
Well, to be fair, she was right.
I was about to say, turns out she was right. Then when I got my ass to Mars, that was when we started to drift apart. Now, did he actually go to Mars intentionally, or did he just end up floating there? Hey, we just picked you up on Mars.
That might
Took
be
you
what
25
happened.
years to free float there. I was given this award by the mayor back when I was a cop. Me and Ed were a well-known team in LAPD.
Partners, even.
Partners. This is a newspaper article reporting on the success of the first manned mission to Mars. I took part in it while undergoing my Policenauts training.
Just as part of his training, he just happened to go on the first
Just
man's
happened
mission
go
to
on the
Mars.
first manned mission to Mars. Sure.
Yeah, like that's not something you would do after you're trained. It's just like, oh, hey, your first time in space? Okay, we're just going to send you to Mars, get used to it, get your feet wet. We'll see what happens.
Sink or swim, buddy. It was written 2 years after the article about Beyond's completion. The newspaper is the paper of the CIS, the Commonwealth of Independent States. By the way, the Soviet Union semi-reformed after, yeah. This is a picture of me encountering a Mars rover on the surface. It was called Rocky. We just met it there. It was sent to Mars with the Mars 96 mission.
What's this little side article here?
The headline reads, Man walks on Mars. Global collaboration makes history. I'll read some of the article. Why don't I? The 4 astronauts, among them a policenaut Jonathan Ingram of the Collective Mars Project, between Russia, Japan, and the United States, touched down on the red planet yesterday. This chapter in space history comes 40 years after man first set foot on the moon.
Well, we're getting a bit of backstory, and this is, I think, one of those scenes where we said we're meeting a client soon, so we have to kind of click on everything that they sort of mention so that we get plot.
Yeah. This is a newspaper article about my accident that occurred during the EMPS spacewalk outside Beyond. How they learned about my accident is a surprise to me. I thought we all did that in our suits. It was written the year after the one about the Mars landing.
Hey, there's a sweet
So
picture
wait, he
of us
got
here.
back in a year's time, or
It was just a quick jaunt to Mars for training.
Oh, sure. This is a picture of me taken around the time of the accident. I'll read some of the article. Malfunction occurred in the vernier thrusters of the Yuri EMPS prototype during a test spacewalk of the device yesterday. The Yuri had been planned for use by the Policenauts outside the colony. The MPS has since vanished without a trace. Yuri is equipped with a survival ball. But because no SOS signal has been detected, chances of test pilot Jonathan Ingram being found alive are thought to be slim. The official test was going to take place the day after. I remember what Salvatore said. Whatever you do, don't screw this up, Johnny boy. Everyone on home is going to be watching.
Home is the new word for Earth.
You. There were still a lot of people opposed to space development back then. It all happened so fast. Before I knew it, the 4 of them were gone.
It's almost like he had... No, everything after that's a blur.
Just like that, the 4 of them were gone. It's almost like I was the one that was gone, and the 4 of them were still there. When I opened my eyes, I was lying in a hospital bed.
That's one way to get to the future.
The other is to wait it out. Something was a police prototype suit for use outside the colony, the successor to NASA's MMU.
Of course.
This image was taken from a camera aboard a nearby space shuttle, which they got out of retirement to continue using. This was me and the Yuri as we were released from the hangar.
All right, what else do we have here? A bunch of beer cans.
It's a beer can. It's empty. They used to use aluminum for cans before, but these ones are made using biodegradable plastic.
That is super futuristic.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time.
This is a Brady oil lighter. They're the manufacturer of the only lighter still in production.
Hey, do you know the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Why, I don't, Zerf. Tell me, what is the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Well, you see, a hippo is quite heavy, and a zippo is a little lighter.
Ah, whack, 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 whack. You don't need lighters and matches for today's bent cigarettes. Bent cigarettes are cigarettes that don't produce any secondary smoke, which you light simply by breaking off
Oh, what do you
a
break
piece of
off?
that Kit Kat bar. The end. The end.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Hey, I'm Bobo the Vulture. Oh, I say light, but there's no actual fire involved. They work off a chemical reaction, and even the leaves are specially processed. They don't give off any smoke or ash, and they make a room more pleasant, but they're not my thing.
I hate the way they make rooms more pleasant.
I love fucking up a room.
So he smokes the last pack of Marlboros. Oh, no.
These are Muslims, the only cigarette in the world that still give off secondary smoke. I don't like the pure bent cigarettes you get today. These are mixed cigarettes, part conventional, part bent. The only brand I touch now is Muslims. Muslims, the only brand for people that have been trapped in space for 25 years.
Oh, here's a
This
sweet
is a replica of the badge I had in LAPD. You can keep looking at it back and forth real quick. This is an investigation report to a client, but I haven't gotten very far with it. This is another child kidnapping, but my negotiations with the kidnappers failed.
Oh, jeez.
I couldn't save the child. He's probably already been cut apart and his organs trafficked to buyers. Sorry, kid. Hey, kid.
Hey, kid, I'm a failure. Stop all the nappers.
Relying on me.
That's the same investigation report. All right. Can we look at the gun?
This is my gun, Beretta 92F. I've had it since I was a cop. She's a bona fide recoil gun equipped with a laser sight. I use a special 10-round magazines with armor-piercing rounds. I don't carry, so I go around shooting everything in sight. She's strictly for protection. That's why I wrap my Jimmy with this gun. She saved my ass I don't know how many times. Ed used to make fun of me for the way I treated my old one. I slapped it around.
It was the gun that sabotaged him in space. He treats me like crap. I'm getting rid of him finally.
I'm just gonna fire off and puncture your suit. This is an ashtray I stumbled across in an antique store. Wasn't easy finding one of these. You don't need an ashtray for bent cigarettes after all.
He's really bent out of shape over these new cigarettes.
The butts are starting to overflow. I guess I should empty it.
There's no empty button.
Nope. It's a half-empty can of beer. The only beer most people can afford anymore is this imitation beer.
Beer is super easy to make. Why don't they just make their own?
And there's a phenomenon now of people making beer in their own homes just for funsies.
They don't know what the future is really going to be like.
Sucks knowing how good real beer was. You got any more messages?
Oh.
Guess I'll have some before it gets warm. I, after all, am not.
You're pretty good.
After all, am not the guy from Scotland Yard.
Hey, Ducks Dynasty, thanks for the follow. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
That's some good fake gulps.
Nothing but bad memories.
No wonder why no one likes this beer.
This beer tastes like bad memories.
Is it still half empty?
Nothing like imitation beer. May as well finish it.
We're gonna get game over now. We're getting drunk early.
I honestly thought it couldn't get any worse than space food, but there you go. He's apparently getting drunk off of one imitation beer. They're really strong, because imitation is just... you have a wedding portrait there you haven't looked at. These are some Venetian blinds I found at an antique store. I don't like the adjustable glass you get today.
This guy's just so mad about living in the future.
I hate the future so much. I put them up so you can't see inside the office from outside.
And then I leave them open.
Yeah, kind of an idiot. This is a photo of me and Lorraine at Lucas World. Lorraine.
Oh, he's introducing her.
My wife.
My waifu.
No, No, that was a long time ago. She moved to Beyond and remarried after I blew it in the MPS. She's someone else's wife now. Also, she's 25 years younger than me, probably. She's a Nisei, half Japanese, half American. There's something kind of mysterious about her. I was a cop fresh out of the academy.
Oh, and Ranger's in before he drives a normal car instead of one of those new hover cars. I don't like how you can't feel the road beneath you.
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe he drives a motorcycle because that gives him even more feel for the road. Lorraine was a student at UCLA. We met her after her place got broken into. Also, maybe because if he was working in Los Angeles, he might have been a chip.
Oh, and apparently his hair is Sonic blue.
John's hair is that Sonic blue.
It's Jonathan the Hedgehog.
This is me and Lorraine on our wedding day. I was still a cop here in L.A. Lorraine dropped out of UCLA after we got engaged.
No, that's a decision she probably regrets.
Yeah, that's a dumb move.
I just want to learn about the flowers.
Nothing personal to anybody who decided to quit college to marry their sweethearts. But seriously, go get an education. Lorraine had this friend at a flower shop arrange a bouquet.
I didn't think you could actually click on the flower, but it worked. What about the boutonniere?
I remember discovering right before the ceremony that my rental tux didn't fit, so I held it together with this boutonniere. I originally had a black tuxedo, but then I spilled bleach on everything but the lapels. Lorraine was like an angel in a wedding dress. I still wear my wedding ring around her head. Those days, my life revolved around my job and Lorraine.
What do you think of bow ties?
What do you think about bow ties? What do you think about Sovereign?
Oh, there's a knock on the door. It looks like we've finally managed to get things moving.
Maybe my luck's changing. Client showing up on time? It's open, come on in. Or was he speaking in English because he's American and in America?
No. He speaks in Japanese because it's the future. Oh, and there's some really moving music playing.
Yeah, it's really moving loading music.
Yeah.
No, Delson, there's no soundboard. Only me to interrupt the actual audio of the game. He is giving us some steamy eyes, isn't he, Lethal?
Yeah. What's going on here? It's playing some music. It's either really loading or the game did freeze. We'll see what happens when this little song ends.
This was going to be a good, this is a good first episode length right here. Hang around and check our office. Boy, I love Muslims. Well,
this is what happens when you drink the beer.
Boy, I love Muslims. This is definitely a different future than America has right now. Policenauts Gaming Simulator.
Ah!